The year is 1576. The Mughal Empire, led by Emperor Akbar, is an unstoppable juggernaut rolling across the Indian subcontinent. Kings, queens, and warlords are folding like cheap lawn chairs. Most Rajput kingdoms have already submitted. They've signed treaties, formed alliances, or arranged marriages. It's the ultimate join us or get crushed scenario. But there's one major holdout. Deep in the harsh, rugged, sun-baked terrain of Rajasthan lies the kingdom of Mewar. And its ruler? Maharana Pratap. Maharana Pratap looks at the expanding Mughal Empire and basically says, yeah, no thanks. He absolutely refuses to submit to Mughal suzerainty. For him, living as a vassal, even a wealthy, comfortable one, is a fate worse than death. He actively chooses hardship, mountains, and war over bowing down. The stakes here are incredibly high. If Mewar falls, Akbar controls all of North India and secures a safe, uninterrupted trade route down to the incredibly prosperous ports of Gujarat. But if Pratap survives, he proves to the world that the invincible Mughal war machine can, in fact, be defied. Now, before we get to the clashing swords, we need to address a massive historical myth. Modern pop culture narratives love to paint the Battle of Haldighati as some epic religious crusade, Hindus versus Muslims. As an expert historian, let me stop you right there. That is completely false. The reality? This was a purely political war. It was empire versus independence. It was about sovereignty, taxation, and power. How do we know this for sure? Just look at who was leading the armies. Akbar, a Muslim emperor, didn't lead his forces that day. Instead, he appointed Raja Man Singh of Amber, a Hindu Rajput, as the supreme commander of the imperial Mughal army. Akbar trusted him implicitly with his empire's expansion. On the flip side, Maharana Pratap, a Hindu king, appointed Hakim Khan Sir, an Afghan Muslim, to lead his vanguard and his artillery. Hakim Khan Sir despised the Mughal Empire and fought to the bitter end for Mewar. This core fact proves the battle was about political alliances and freedom, not religion. Keep that in your back pocket. Let's set the battlefield. The location is Haldighati. Haldi means turmeric, and this narrow mountain pass in the Aravalli range is named for its bright, yellow-colored soil. Why here? Pratap was a strategic genius. He chose this specific bottleneck intentionally. The pass was so incredibly narrow that only a few men could ride side by side. This terrain completely neutralized the massive size advantage of the Mughal army and rendered their heavy field artillery totally useless. You can't outflank an enemy if there are literal mountains in the way. Let's look at the tail of the tape. The Mughal forces numbered an estimated 5,000 to 10,000 men. This was a diverse, mixed army of Mughals, Rajputs allied with Akbar, and fierce Central Asian cavalry, armed with matchlocks and cannons that couldn't fit in the pass. Mewar's forces? A much smaller 3,000 to 4,000 men. But they had heavy Rajput cavalry and a secret weapon, a crucial contingent of indigenous-built tribal warriors led by Rao Punjabil. These masters of the terrain were positioned high up on the ridges of the pass, armed with bows, arrows, and massive boulders, just waiting to rain down chaos. June 18, 1576. It's go time. The Mughals expect Pratap to stay in the pass and play defense. But Pratap flips the script. At first light, he launches a massive, preemptive cavalry charge led by Hakim Khan Sir. The sheer, unbridled ferocity of this Rajput and Afghan charge completely shatters the Mughal vanguard and their left wing. It's total chaos. Mughal soldiers break ranks and flee for their lives, running for miles. For a moment, it looks like an incredible early victory for Pratap. But Raja Man Singh is a seasoned veteran. He stays icy calm, brings up his reserves, and stops the retreat. The battle turns from a rout into a claustrophobic, brutal melee in the narrow pass. With the infantry gridlocked in a bloody stalemate, it's time for the heavyweights. Both sides deploy their armored war elephants. Pratap unleashes his legendary war elephant, Ramprasad. And guys, Ramprasad goes absolutely berserk, crushing Mughal formations and causing absolute havoc. He is a one-elephant wrecking crew. The Mughals realize they have to stop this beast, so they send multiple elephants to gang up on him. In the chaos, Ramprasad's Mahout, his driver, is killed by a stray arrow. Without his driver, the great elephant is captured. Akbar is so impressed by this animal that he later renames him Prasad. We have reached the climax. Maharana Pratap decides the only way to win is to cut the head off the snake. Through the dust and blood, he spots Rajaman Singh commanding the Mughal forces from atop his massive war elephant, Mardana. Pratap kicks his legendary blue-roan horse, Chetak, into a sprint. In one of the most famous moments in Indian history, Chetak rears up and plants his front hooves directly onto the face of the Mughal elephant. Sound, dramatic swoosh, Pratap hurls his spear with everything he has at Man Singh. Man Singh ducks into his howdah, the wooden carriage on the elephant's back. The spear narrowly misses the commander, but kills his mahout. But gravity takes over. As Chetak drops his hooves back to the ground, disaster strikes. The Mughal elephant is equipped with a massive, razor-sharp sword attached to its trunk. As the elephant swings its head, the blade slices deep into Chetak's hind leg, nearly severing it. Pratap's spear missed the target, and now, his greatest companion is fatally wounded. The tide is turning. Pratap is severely wounded, and the Mughal forces realize exactly where he is because of the royal umbrella waving over his head. They swarm him. He is totally surrounded. Death or capture is seconds away. Seeing this, a fiercely loyal Mewari noble named Jala Man makes the ultimate sacrifice. He rides furiously into the fray, snatches the royal standard and the umbrella from Pratap, and holds it high over his own head. The Mughal army, thinking they've cornered the king, swarms Jala Man. He fights bravely but is killed. His incredible sacrifice creates just enough of a diversion for Pratap to break through the lines and escape. But the escape rests on Chetak. Bleeding out, running on essentially 3 legs, the loyal horse carries his master away from the carnage. They reach a wide, terrifying river chasm. Mughals are in hot pursuit. Despite his horrific, fatal injuries, Chetak gathers his remaining strength and leaps across the chasm. He lands safely on the other side, out of enemy reach, saving Pratap's life. But the effort is too much. Immediately after crossing, the legendary horse collapses and dies. A hero's end. If you visit the spot today, a beautiful cenotaph still stands right there to honor Chetak's loyalty. So, who won the Battle of Haldighati? Militarily, the Mughals won the field that day. It was a tactical victory for Akbar. But strategically, it was a massive failure. They completely failed to capture Maharana Pratap or subjugate Mewar. Instead of surrendering, Pratap retreats deep into the Aravalli hills. He doesn't give up, he changes tactics. He initiates a brutal, exhausting, 20-year guerrilla war against Mughal outposts. He strikes from the shadows, cuts off their supplies, and drives them crazy. Eventually, Akbar gets distracted. Rebellions pop up in other parts of his massive empire, pulling his attention and troops away from Rajasthan. Pratap seizes the opportunity. By the time Maharana Pratap dies in 1597, from injuries sustained during a hunting accident, not from a Mughal sword, he had successfully recaptured nearly all of his beloved Mewar. The Battle of Haldighati is legendary, not because of who held the dirt at the end of the day, but because it stands as the ultimate symbol of resistance, loyalty, and the unyielding, unbreakable desire for freedom against truly impossible odds. Thanks for watching. History is wild, isn't it? Catch you next time.